Alrighty then. Chris Walker.
Yes, sir.
Rivalry Week 2 is over. Done, son. It's in the books. Every time Rivalry Week... Every time Rivalry Week number 2 comes to a close, it makes me think that we are just that much closer to the playoffs. Playoffs? Yes, the playoffs. We are close. Here comes Ray. She's holding up fingers, 2 fingers, because that's the only points that she was able to muster, was 2 points. And then she said something that she's going to do to me later. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Both of those fingers in your butthole.
Yeah, both of those fingers on each hand up. How you doing, man? Week 16 is in the books, man. What a long 10 days. Long 10 days.
Because we didn't do a video for, what it feels like 2 weeks. That's why it feels that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot happened in that 2 weeks, man.
It did.
Ray reinvigorated her stardom. She is now actually a star. Again, back in Jacksonville. I do like to think.
Talk about it.
Man, she was awesome. I will say, man, it left me speechless. I was really proud. It's like a minute and 61 seconds will define you as a human being for those people that step out onto that threshold and decide to sing the national anthem in front of any crowd, and Ray nailed it. And I'm awaiting any and all phone, email, text messages start coming through about booking her next appearance.
Right. If you get a hold of the video, please post that in the chat.
Brother, I have plenty of videos, and I will post it in the chat. As a matter of fact, I think I should just post it on my YouTube page and see what we can do from there.
Yeah, I agree. Now, Ray, I have a question. I at least know enough about singing to be dangerous, and I know that singing the national anthem requires a bit of range and is one of the hardest songs to sing ever. How nervous were you going into it?
I'll be honest, I was very nervous because this was a very emotional week for me. I lost one of my employees to cancer. And yeah, so I had been crying basically all week long, and then his funeral was before I sang that day. So I was a little bit hoarse, so I kind of took it easier than what I normally would have, but it definitely takes, even then, it takes a lot. You got to have a lot of courage to be able to do that with people that are ready to rip your ass a new one.
Well, how did you get into it? Mentally prepare for it, I guess.
Mentally prepare for it?
Yeah, how did you don't psych yourself up, or you don't try to calm yourself down? What do you do?
So honestly, I was calming myself down. Casey could see me out there. I was doing the breathe, bad feelings in, no, good feelings in, bad feelings out. I was doing the breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And he's like, calm down. It's like, I am. So while I was here, I took 2 shots of Fireball and drank some hot tea, and then just tried to calm my nerves, continuously doing that breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth thing.
Nice. Proud of you.
Thank you. It was all because of this butthead right here.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, you set it up?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
You're a good man.
We're going to take this on tour for sure.
But you're going to go to other minor league stadiums and...
Oh, yeah. Well, we're thinking beyond Thunderdome, brother. All right? So, man, let's get into this, man. Again, long, busy, crazy week. Unfortunately for Ray, she could only sing beautifully. She could not win beautifully, and I am proud of that fact of whooping that booty. But, hey, calm down.
You did not whoop ass. Okay, you barely pulled it out.
Thanks, she's showing up with a knife.
So, you need to retract that statement.
You'll see in video, man, she comes up with a big-ass knife. Okay, yeah. No, Ray's got a good team, okay? Let's put it in honesty terms. She's got
I got a question.
Is it a question?
Was there a side bet?
No, not really. It was yesterday that it was like, hey, you're going to take me to dinner if you lose, but that really wasn't even said. It was, I was not going to wager anything because honestly, man, I'm a little concerned with my team moving forward with the lack of batters, and I'm still not comfortable with my pitchers, man. I got a 4.95 ERA sitting right there. Not comfortable at all. So, I definitely...
Well, I don't know what moves you've done today, but I think this is the shortest I've ever seen your 10-day rule list in some time.
Yeah, Ray was like, thanks for not streaming on me. I'm like, well, I told her, I honestly feel like this may be the best pitching staff for me all season, and I need to just see what I can do moving forward. So I'm going to pump the brakes. Now, it was evident that I was picking up batters, and had I not picked up one batter, I probably would have lost, or at least, made it more interesting for her. So, yeah. But some trades were made, obviously, before this week, and we'll see how they affect me and the overall standings moving forward. So, right now I'm feeling pretty comfortable about a few of them, but some of them not so much. So, next matchup. Let's go on. I guess I'll go right down the list. You and Jason tied 5-5. This was a good matchup, man.
You know what? I know it was 5-5, but I feel damn good about my team. I feel really good about myself.
Well,
Jason was a hard team to beat. I wanted to beat them, but I'm still happy with how things turned out.
I want Reese Hoskins back. That's all there is to say about it.
Wait a minute, hold on, just a second. Why is everybody talking about Reese Hoskins and not Chris Davis?
I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. And hey, we'll get into all these players, okay? I've got it written down because I think it should be noted that we address every individual team's probably top performer of the week, okay? It was a long 10 days, and I think we should focus on that. So slow your roll, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, calm down. But yeah, man, I mean, Reese has, got that first base outfielder eligibility. He, I think, gets on base a little bit more than Chris Davis if we're talking in comparison. And, they're both on good teams right now, man. Oakland is quietly flying underneath everybody's radar. I think they're just now popping up on the radar. So,
They've got here, man. They've got a batting lineup. Everybody's got a little pop in their bat, can take the wall, contributing in little ways. Like, nobody's a bad base runner on that team. They've got pretty good defense, and they've got just enough pitching to get by.
Right.
And I'm sure you saw they traded for Familia. They already had basically baseball's best bullpen. I think the Yankees could rival them, but statistically, they have baseball's best bullpen, and they wanted to add to it. I think they're going to do the Rays strategy and have bullpen days every now and then.
Yeah. Well,
they could be good down the stretch, man.
Yeah, man, I'm rooting for him. I like him. So I've always wanted to see Billy Bean's strategy, so to speak, work out for him. So we'll see.
Sure.
Moving on down the line, big gut punch to Reader. Personally, 9-1. Barely got the home runs over Eric.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I don't know what Reader's going to be able to do to.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was not as big of a blowout as it seemed, right?
He was down by 10 runs, 6 RBIs, stolen bases. Eric just ran away with 11 Ks. I don't know, man. I mean, looking at it, other than the save plus holds and the home runs, everything else was pretty much in Eric's favor.
Well, maybe he pulled away right at the end, because I do remember it being close up until maybe the last 3 games.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. Rizzo started heating up a little bit.
Yeah.
What? Moving on down the line, another big blowout, but this one really did come in the end. I thought Billy had it in the bag probably Friday, and then his bats kind of went cold.
Later than that.
Yeah.
No, it was later. It was a little later than that. So it was at least 6-4. Josh before Sunday Night Baseball, something like that. Something fairly close. And earlier in the day, it was like 5-4 Josh or 4-4, something like that. But in Sunday Night Baseball, he had Marcell Ozuna and Ben Zobrist. They both hit homers. I believe Zobrist hit 4 for 4. It was enough to help Josh come back in batting average, RBIs, and home run, and he almost caught him in runs too. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was that's Sunday Night Baseball, man. It'll make or break a team for those of, the teams that have them. And I didn't realize that Bill's ERA was 6.58.
It was god-awful.
Yeah,
wow.
Severino just lit him up, and Felix Hernandez and Lopez and Richard, they just, whoa. Surprised by Severino for sure. The last 2 starts that he had was over 10, uncharacteristic of him, but his last 4 starts, he's had 5.4, 7.2, and then 10.80 and 12.46. So just not good. Something's either going on with him or probably the reason why the Yankees are looking for more depth in their rotation, just to maybe give him a break.
Well, too bad I don't play Bill again this year. I already played him. He got his good baseball out of the way when he played me, and I was going to shit the bed.
Yeah. Well, knocked him out of the top 6, that's for sure. And speaking of which, coming into the top 6, Robbie just beat down the rookie. Man.
It was bad. It wasn't even close to fucking anything.
No.
Okay. Got it.
But the thing is, you play the matchup. Robbie probably would lose to a lot of other teams had he played anybody else. But you play the matchup, and Robbie right now is riding that number 6 spot. Got a pretty good pitching staff, 117 strikeouts, 3.66 on the ERA. But other than that, man, he's hurting without Chris Bryant actually being his go-to guy. But we'll talk again later about who actually pulled it out for him.
Gotcha. All right.
And last but not least, the other husband and wife combo. Dude, if I had a violin or something, poor Nick, she didn't get but 3 home runs, barely broke into 20 RBIs. I mean, Shane just beat that ass, which I've been saying was going to be happening. Because in batting categories and with the batters that Shane has, there really is only a few teams that are going to be able to face off against him. But he's looking like his pitching core is now his weakest link, and he knows it. But honestly, man, he showed everybody all I got to do is take one or two of those pitching categories, and that's it. That's all I need.
I bet you Nick won't hit 3 home runs against me.
Yeah. Her offense will kick into high gear again.
Collusion.
Yeah. Oh man, so we blazed through that. We talked a little bit about that. I know you're probably ready to try to get into whatever. If it's all right, can we skip the rotos and we'll just go into the batters, pitchers, and my
You're in the driver's seat, buddy.
All right, man.
In the driver's seat.
So you're
Jesus take the wheel.
So for the batters the last 30 days, Jose Ramirez, Francisco Lindor, Mike Trout, Matt Carpenter, and Mookie Betts. And yeah, the last 7 days, Trout back on top where he most undoubtedly belongs, followed by Yelich, which I'm really happy about because I traded Trout and then ended up ultimately getting Yelich in return. Rhys Hoskins, and then of course Shoop and Matt Chapman, who later on or earlier on in the week was dropped by Jason,
Right.
and you didn't hesitate. You picked him right up. So I thought that was, when I read his name, I was like, man, I knew I should have probably reacted, but I didn't react quick enough. So
Everybody wanted to trade for a third baseman rather than pick one up, and so
hey, he
like,
was
all
out
right.
there. Yeah. Pitchers for the last 30 days, Chris Sale, you mentioned him earlier, Familia, Greinke, Diaz, and Julio's Chasen, or however you pronounce his damn name.
Shaquille.
Yeah, okay. I believe
I'm
you.
making shit up.
Yeah.
That may be it. I don't know.
And then your last 7 days, Chachin or Chasen, Sean Newcomb. Sean Newcomb, Archie Bradley, Max Scherzer, and Tanner Roark, who, was sitting down there free as a bird. He got dropped earlier in the week, and Bill swooped in, grabbed him up. Good performance by him. Not so sure it's going to sustain, but, I mean, he's got decent stats, but that was at least a really good game. It actually mirror imaged strikeout for strikeout and ERA and whip as Max Scherzer. I mean, literally the exact same stats. 8 innings pitched, 1 win, 11 Ks, 0 on the ERA, 0.50 on the whip. So both of
Might
the,
have been the only good pitcher Bill had that week.
Yeah, but actually he picked him up after Tanner performed that well.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so Tanner, those stats were uncalculated in the league because he was sitting there as a free agent. So it brings me. What's that?
I wish I was taking more attention then. Damn.
Yeah, right. Which brings me to my next point. Don't do drugs or players of the week. So I pulled it out for the 10, technically 11 days straight of players of the week, and it's just for batters. I didn't do pitchers, and I just want everyone to be able to reflect on probably their favorite batter for the week so they can reflect. Matt Carpenter is going to be mine. And I know, right, Christian Yelich was not on my team the whole week, but I drove down to Orlando, I think it was last Friday. Actually, 2 Fridays ago. And as I turned on that game that he hit 3 home runs, I was freaking out each home run. I'm like, this dude is on fire. He kind of cooled off after that 3 home run game, kind of. He's definitely cooled off in the last 7 games. But he hit
That's
2.
gotta be one of the best feelings in lawn starting.
But yeah, man, I was geeking out, and I was really excited, and I hope he would have been able to hit I know. I was hoping that he was going to be able to hit one more. I think he would have like set a league record for home runs. But it was really weird because all that week, man, people were just dropping bombs consecutively in a row. I don't think that whatever he did hitting those home runs in a row, it was kind of being overshadowed by what other players were doing because they were also hitting home runs in a row. I forget the other guys, but it really wasn't that big of a deal, but just the fact that he was hitting them like he was definitely a gut buster for Chicago for sure for what he was doing.
Also the stolen bases that like you put those home runs together with the stolen bases he got. That's unstoppable.
Right? So, but man, I only broke into one, but Matt Carpenter was my little hero. 10 runs, 6 home runs, 10 RBIs. Suarez for Ray, he, low OBP, but 6 runs, 5 home runs, and 9 RBIs. I'm going to say Hoskins for you with 11, 7, 14 RBIs. Chris Davis for Jason, 9, 7, 16. And, Reeder did have a little bit to get excited about. Grandal with 4 runs, 4 home runs, and 6 RBIs. Unfortunately, there weren't any Dodgers really on base for him when he was hitting those home runs. For Eric Pollock, 10 runs, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and a stolen base. How about Shoop, man? He went off for Josh, 9 runs, 7 home runs, 15 RBIs. Perez, yeah, that was crazy. Perez did really well for Bill, 7 runs, 5 home runs, 12 RBIs. Abreu just kind of quietly led Robbie with 8 runs, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. Bregman, 4 runs, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. I had to pick somebody, man. It was just kind of a quiet week for poor old Keith. And then Springer for Shane, 7 runs, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. And then I had to pick somebody for Nick, Molina, 8 runs, a home run, 4 RBIs, and 1 stolen base.
That's respectable.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, she's you out of your mind for a reason. So, yeah. Real quick, man, and then I want to try to get back to the kids and the wife. Trade deadline is tomorrow. I think it's at 4 p.m. is when it concludes. Granted, there's always the ability for players to come over to other teams. Who do you think are the biggest buyers and who do you think are the biggest sellers? In my opinion, I think the Braves, the Diamondbacks, and the Brewers are probably the biggest buyers. Although I don't really feel like the Braves are doing much, and I feel like they should be doing more. What do you think?
Braves, man, they're patient to a fault, man. They were like, kind of balking at offers for Mike Moustakas and some other third baseman that could help them. Maybe a good arm, They won't come off of this prospect. And I can't blame them, but, I agree with you. When you got a window to win, you kind of got to take advantage. And that pick of the Diamondbacks as a buyer is a sneaky pick because you don't think of them as a powerhouse team looking to get better. You look at the Diamondbacks as a fringy team that's got a few stars, and you worry about people behind them. And they could really take advantage of an upgrade more so than one of your juggernaut teams.
Yeah. They went out there and they got.
Team than what you picked.
What's that?
I can't think of a better team than what you picked.
Well, thanks, man. And your sellers, I think the Mets, the Reds, and I know it's kind of crazy to say, but I put a question mark beside it. Are the Nats buyers or sellers? They were looking to this Miami matchup to really give them perspective on their team. They win the first two, and everybody's like, oh, okay, they're not selling anything. They're chasing down the Braves and the Phillies. And then they lose the last two games. And so they're like, wait a minute, we're still one game under 500. But I don't know, man, the way that the Braves played, they had the Dodgers. If you're going to compete, you better, these are the times to do it. And they just dropped the ball on trying to get some wins against arguably one of the best teams in baseball right now. And you're like, okay, you only won one game, and the only reason you really won that game is because your starting pitcher gave you 8 2/3 of perfection, and then your bullpen comes right back in and blows the fucking, shutout. And it's like, guys, come on. He gave you 26 outs, and he only put a man, what was it, a double? Chris Taylor got a double, right? So
I thought you said it was a single. No. I'm thinking of Sean Newcomb, where he allowed a single, and the bullpen guys let him score. It must have been a double. I'll take your word for it.
Either way, you got a reliever come in, give me 3 strikeouts, or give me 3 strikes, give me something. Don't make that guy that just pitched this game for us. Don't make his ERA go up. And unfortunately, Sean Newcomb had to deal with the fact that, that Braves bullpen is just kind of a joke to me for the most part. I like how they did address and they went and got Brad Brock, but bottom line is you're not making any headway. I think you need to add another starting pitcher, and honestly, you need to get you some offense. You need to go out there and get you an outfielder like today. Somebody's out there. You need to get another bat because I don't think Ender is your answer. Nick Markakis is doing all right. Freddie Freeman, Ozuna, and Acuna, they're dealing with injuries because they've just been being relied on so much. You need to go out there and give somebody a bench guy, if anything, just to give them a break if you're going into the postseason. But that's just me. But again, the Mets, I don't know, man. I think Zach Wheeler might get traded. I don't know. They seem like that they're just like, oh, we want too much for our pitchers. And the Reds, Matt Harvey might be one of the only players that's going to get tossed around. And again, the Nationals, everybody's talking about Bryce Harper. I don't see them doing anything. I think that they're going to be like, well, we're just going to roll with what we got and see where the Phillies and the Braves end up.
They won't trade anybody big, the Nationals,
Yeah.
Because that's their meal ticket. That's the reason why they can compete for the playoffs. But you might see them trade a bullpen arm. You might see them trade Gio Gonzalez or something like that.
Yeah.
One team you're not mentioning is the Orioles, man. They're already in sell mode. I know they've already got rid of Manny and Zach Britton, but they've got plenty more that they could trade.
Yeah.
If anybody would give a ham sandwich to Chris Davis, I'm sure they'd trade him.
Hey, he picked up his numbers in the last week too, man. He's got power, but that dude strikes out so much. And of course, Adam Jones. That's what I'm saying about the Braves. Go out there and get you an outfielder, man. Adam Jones is sitting right there. Yeah, go get him. So, but like I said, man, I'm glad that.
And then Ender NCR would be that fourth outfielder you're talking about.
Yeah. So, man, I appreciate the time. I wish you not a lot of luck because you're still in contention for this. I can say wholeheartedly that, sadly, as much as I wanted it to see it happen, I think we have one, maybe 2 guys that are not going to be in the playoffs. And unfortunately, Keith, I think you're done, son. I wish you the best of luck. Hopefully you come back next year. I want you to come back next year. I want you to learn from your mistakes. No, I do not consider myself one of those mistakes. But I just don't see him coming back from being 38 games back out of first, but almost 20 games out of sixth place. I don't see it happening. Crazier things have happened, but I just don't see it happening.
I have to agree with you there, my man. I appreciate the time with you as well. I may not be a winner this week, but I'm going to get some booty tonight.
All right, man. That sounds awesome.
Feel like a winner.
Well, on that note, why was Cinderella kicked off the baseball team?
Because she missed the ball?
She ran away from the ball. Oh, man. All right, let me see if I can give you one more. What do baseball players use to bake a cake?
You got me.
Oven mitts, bunt pans, and batter. Oh, these jokes are terrible. Terrible. Thank you, Nick, for the desire for jokes. All right, hope everybody has a good week. We are entering August, which means football is coming back. I'm excited about some preseason stuff coming up in just about 2 weeks. So,
this is where baseball champions are made, right here.
Yes, sir.
Focus on baseball.
Exactly. All right, man. Love, love, love.
Love
Have
you,
a
man.
good week. We'll talk at you on Monday.
All right.
All right, man. Later.